there she is. Forehead and glasses.
There I am.
Yeah, it was kind of covered, and you just looked like you were peeking over the edge there for a while.
Because it kept saying unable to connect for a firewall or something. I don't know. We installed all our cameras this weekend, so.
Oh, good. And the cameras are connected to the internet? To the
Yes.
computers via the internet? Oh, that's good. So
Yeah,
that means that you can access the cameras on your phone.
Yes. Yeah, you get alerts when the cameras, they're all motion sensitive.
Brilliant. So yeah, just do this. Just reach out and then curl your fingers and then pull back a little bit. Reach out a little more. Further, reach further. And then curl the fingers. No, you have to go a little further still. Reach a little further. Yeah, past that lid. The lid of the laptop.
Okay, I'm past it.
Yeah, so now curl your fingers and then pull the lid a little bit toward you. There you go. It's always weird when it's just the head like that. Yeah, okay. I don't know. It makes me constantly want to sit higher and look up. I don't know. It's very weird. So I was just kind of teasing a bit.
I just got out of work, so I'm.
Oh, you're working today. Oh wow. Cheryl, stuff like that makes absolutely no difference to me, truly. I long since learned to see past things like that and for them to be completely and utterly irrelevant, So that's not, when I look at people, it's not what I see,
Yeah.
I see other things. So what's been happening, Cheryl? You said it was a rough weekend. I'm assuming the visit wasn't as smooth as you would have liked it to be.
No. It wasn't. I'm sorry. I'm going to be smoking because
it's okay.
I'm smoking this week.
It's okay. What happened? Was there drama?
Ali was just awful. My son-in-law was just awful.
Wow. To you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. In what way?
Just so disrespectful. And these swipes he would take at me from time to time. And I just would not react. I just refused to react, to respond, to engage, to nothing. I just let it go. And it's almost like my son is like completely oblivious.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that he would never talk to Ali's mother that way. I wrote it down. I wrote it down. I tried to put it in a capsule.
Has he done this before?
Yes.
Oh, so this is not a new thing.
But I guess he hasn't done it since we went to Italy 2 years ago. I thought we all bonded in Italy and he was so sweet. He couldn't have been sweeter to me in Italy.
Wow. So, Cheryl, sorry, before you go any further, I'm suspecting, since there has been this, that his reactions towards you are transference of how he would like to treat his mother. It's got nothing to do with you. He can't say it to his own mother, and his mother's that horror that you told us about, right? The crazy woman. Okay, right. So, so that's the only thing that makes sense in this context. The only thing that makes sense. He's simply just acting out on you what he'd like to do with his mother. And that it's not uncommon, people do.
I mean, one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you here is that a big part of this is Sue.
Oh, interesting. How did Sue get into it?
He loves Sue.
Interesting.
Loves Sue. And makes a point to constantly shower her with love and affection and compliments, and I've missed you, so I'm so glad to see you, and I just love spending every minute of time with you. And sometimes when Justin comes home, I kind of get a little selfish with him. I'll take one day and not invite any family members, just the three of us. But when Ali comes home with Justin, Sue is here from the minute they arrive till the minute they leave.
Oh, wow.
And it's kind of hurtful.
Yeah.
It's kind of hurtful. I feel like the over attention that he gives to Sue it is sending a message to me. Now, I try not to take things personally, but I feel like it sends a message because it's always in my presence.
Wow. You know, so like I said, you know, that you know, with Sue, it actually just you know, or sort of aggravates or confirms or this idea that he's taking out on you his mother stuff, because you know he's also aware of, and you know, with Sue, it's another perspective of contrast, you know, for him.
Right.
So it's interesting that he
Right.
takes it out on you, though. It's a little peculiar.
Let me
so-
read you real quick what I wrote down, and then we'll go further.
Yeah.
Okay, because my goal through my impeccability was to search for the significance of why this is happening. And I wrote down, what is the significance of the way a lead treats me? Most of which is simply dismissal, as though I bring no value to any given moment, and I feel he doesn't value me personally. It hurts to watch him love up on so many family members. Oh, and another one he absolutely loves and adores and tells all the time is Greg.
No.
Loves Greg. It hurts to watch him love up on so many family members without a single kind word to me or any show of affection or gratitude that I simply am. No regard for my feelings or happiness, no effort to share the slightest amount of joy or happiness, no matter how many times I initiate a kind exchange between us, which I do.
And Justin is completely oblivious to all this, yeah?
And Greg this morning for the first time said, "I'm sorry."
Greg said he's sorry for Ali?
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge. That's huge. I hope you gave Greg a big hug.
Actually, I was on my way out the door, but
still, you know, I mean,
thank you for at least noticing.
Exactly. Yes, my point. You know, it's not that I'm grieving, Greg. This is a wonderful thing. I mean, shit, you know, you should recognize a lot more stuff. You're way behind the curve, you know, behind the 8 ball. Yeah, you're just really out of the loop. But whenever he does positive things, at least to reward that with appreciation, not like it's the be all and end all of everything, but thank you, you know, thank you for noticing, you know, right. So that you don't.
But I did thank him for noticing. Yeah. I did.
You see what I mean? It's like it's a delicate balance. You can't over appreciate it because then he thinks he's the be all and end all of everything, and you know he's a fantastic husband, which he's not. You know, he's a crap husband. Sorry, but that's just the truth of it. You know, I mean, just as what it could be. You know, they could be worse too, of course, but still. You know, so you have to at least when there is movement in the right direction to be sure to encourage it, to reward it, as it were. At any rate, there's another thing with Ali. You know, you're very powerful, and Ali doesn't sound like somebody who's got too much his own confidence for real. He might have it in appearance and, you know, in the jabber, but not underneath it all. I mean, the fact that he puts up with all that crap from his mother and doesn't stand up to her means that he doesn't have a real solidity of self. Yes.
But I've actually heard him argue with his mother. And if Justin ever said those things to me, I don't know that we'd be able to repair it.
Oh, wow. I mean, okay. Well, anyway, my point was, where I was going was that he could be a little bit threatened by you in his relationship with Justin.
That's for sure. Yeah. That's for sure.
You know, like you could take Justin away from him and shit like that, you know. So
but there has to be a resolution because I can't.
So I would recommend, if ever he comes to visit again, take him aside where you can have a little bit of privacy, and they just say, look, Ali, I'm just confused. I don't understand it. I have nothing against you. I like you. I think you're good for Justin, etc. And I'm not sure why you have this negativity towards me. It just baffles
It's
me.
almost like a passive animosity.
Yeah. I said to him, I don't get it. I mean, maybe I'm misunderstanding. You can bring it in that. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but it seems to me like it's sort of a passive negativity. It's confusing to me. I really don't get it. Maybe I'm misperceiving. You can always put it in that, give people an out. Maybe I'm just misperceiving. I just don't understand. But I really am happy for you and Justin. I'm positive about your relationship. I think you're great for Justin, and I want to support it. I want to be, happiness. I want to have us be happy, because I know if there's things aren't good with us, that's going to make Justin unhappy. Stuff like that. I think if you were to do that, either you'll say, oh, you must be misunderstanding because you're giving that open, you're giving them out. I'm sorry if I came across that way, etc., etc. So, and I remember in Italy when we were there, it was so good, and I don't know what changed. So just try that maybe and see what happens.
Yeah.
See. Yeah. Have they left already?
Yes, this morning.
And
and I'll tell you, so many years I cry when I see Justin walk out the door, and today it couldn't happen fast enough.
Wow.
I wanted him gone.
That's movement. That's movement, Cheryl. When we have independence of being, we aren't that so obsessed with people, and they don't become the everything in our worlds, which in other words doesn't make us vulnerable anymore. And that's powerful. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't care about them. We do. But at the same time, we don't overcare, which is very detrimental. So, in a way, it's kind of a gift. In a way, Ali's nonsense is kind of a gift.
I need to find something positive in it.
It's your independence of being, freedom from that. Because otherwise, you've seen obsessed mothers. Look at Ali and his mother. Look at that dependency there. Is that healthy for either of them?
No,
exactly. It's horrible.
No.
It's horrible. No. So we have to realize this. I saw something once that really stuck with me. It's very potent. I said that, whatever the quote was, our kids come through us, not from us. They come through us. We tend to think of kids as our possessions, as our creations, but they really just come through you. They may or may not be connected to you. It's kind of random, right? They come through you. They're their own independent people, in other words. They aren't your creations. They're their own entity. Same way as you came through your parents. You're your own person. You know that more than anyone else, right? You aren't a creation or a product of your mother, right? She may have tried to make you think that, but she never could, right? You try to buy into that, you didn't succeed. You couldn't. Your honesty wouldn't let you, right? You came through. That's it. So when you see it that way, and you realize your kids are their own people, then both of you have freedom, and you can truly have a really positive relationship. We can only truly have positive relationships and good relationships when there is independence of being. Doesn't have to be on both sides, but it has to be on at least one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If there's dependency, it's slavery of self. It's addiction. It's all sorts of horrible things. Dependency. It's no good. It's not healthy. Not healthy for anyone, right?
Right.
Again, look at the example. Yeah, you have a classic example: Ali and his mother. So I suspect there's lots of stuff going in. The transference of the relationship with his mother to you. Assuming that you might be, because you're a strong personality, you might just assume that you're the same with Justin in private, the way his mother is with him. I don't know. Or, being threatened by it, all sorts of stuff. There's so much perception here somewhere. So you can let him know too. Yeah.
Sometimes through all this, I get really angry with Sue because I feel like she's allowing herself to be used.
That was my next question that I wanted to ask. Sue's oblivious to all of this, yeah?
She allows herself to be used as a vehicle to hurt me. And she of all people picks up on it. She knows some of the things that are said, and and they're really like the swipes he takes at me are really like, wow, like you don't see them coming. And
yeah. I mean, if Greg noticed it, that's significant. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not.
Yeah. Now, if Greg noticed it, Susie had to notice it.
You would
But
think, you would hope.
but
Yeah.
but she just engages, and I don't know. And I think to myself, don't you realize he's using you? I mean, and not that I don't feel like they've got some sort of a connection, because they do.
Yeah.
But it's way over the top. I remember a few years back, before we went to Italy, I had a Christmas party here, and they were here for the Christmas party. And at one point, Eli and Susie were skipping through the house, locked arm in arm, and he was singing Susie the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Now, the whole time he's like ignoring and being very dismissive of everybody else at the party. And then I came into the living room at one point, and he's sitting on her lap with his head resting on her chest. And it was just odd.
Yeah. You know, it's, I hate to say it, but I don't actually hate to say it, but it is something that it's not uncommon in gay culture. This exact relationship with gay men, with older women, you know, the mother-in-law, whatever, either, you know, extreme negativity, or, you know, some older female, and it's not uncommon at all. There's probably some term
No, it's
for
extreme connectivity with one female and extreme negativity with another.
Right. I mean, it's just, it's excessiveness of the modality. But I mean, that particular relationship, there's a term for it. I forget what they call it, you know. I don't know, but it's really intriguing, you know, how that happens. So I don't know. Like I said, you know, if you just went in case, they say you don't have to necessarily, you know, fall over me, have the same relationship you do with Sue. That's not what I'm asking for. I'm just saying there's no need for the negativity. I don't have anything negative towards you. He may have somewhere believed that, you know, your sobriety is an indictment of him. Some people are very sensitive that way and very insecure that way. They when any sobriety they take as a criticism of them, because they are kind of indulgent. And Ali sounds like quite an indulgent person, no?
Yeah.
So, you know, take it as a compliment, Cheryl. Seriously, take it as a compliment. Sobriety is very threatening to many people. You have to almost so often make an overt effort to let them know, hey, just because I'm sober and sensible and judicious and discerning and all of these other things, I don't care about your nonsense. If you want to be whatever you want to be, that's your choice. I don't have anything to do with it. Right? I'm okay with whatever you choose to do. That's your business. My business, my business. And they assume, by contrast, when you choose sobriety, that it's an implication of them. It's mentality of opposites, right? In other words, if something's not black, it's automatically white, or vice versa, right? So that means, right, if you see yourself as good and sensible, and I'm different to you, by contrast, obviously, then you must think I'm bad. It's foolish, it's idiotic logic, but they think this way. Many people think that way, right? If something's not black, it's got to be white. Something's not wrong, it's got to be right, and vice versa. So when they see you...
I constantly reach out with, you know, affection and kind words, and
still, that's probably the threat of it now. If you're going to be all nice and kind and sober and sensible and strong and powerful, you know, he's going to lose.
He's going to dig his heels in harder.
Yeah. So, you know, it makes his insecurity even worse. And say to him, look, as much as I love Justin, sorry, you know, there's no way he's moving back into this house and being my child again.
Yeah.
Or at least I hope not, right?
No.
Yeah, I mean, say, you know, it's a different relationship now. You know, that's not going to happen. That's not appropriate anymore. You know, Justin's got to live his own life, you know. So you have to spell it out sometimes. People assume stuff because his mother That's what she wants. Right? If Ali was to move back with her and, leave Justin, she'd be too thrilled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she'd actually sabotage the relationship to make that happen. So, what Ali's perception of mothers and, their love for the son, because he sees a strong love, your strong love for Justin, assuming it's similar to his mom. He doesn't know any better. So you have to set him straight to that. So, that's not my deal. No, sorry. Much as I love Justin, not my deal. Just tell him straight,
Okay. Yeah. Well,
But celebrate your power, Cheryl. Celebrate your power. Look at what you've done. Look at your sobriety here, right? Your discernment, your sensibility, your, holding back, just that, the power of your goodness and your love to refrain from basically bitch slapping the little twit,
yeah.
It's
I
like,
think,
come on,
still, I think the good news is that I chose to take today to think it all the way through, deal with it, reach out to you.
Yes.
I would have never done this before you. I just, that's the good news. The good news is that I will find the significance. I will find the gift. I'll find the value. I will.
You just did. You found the gift in your power. What you did today was an exercise of Cheryl power. Simple as that. Simple as that. It's an exercise of maturity. There's no other way to say it. Maturity and sobriety. That's what you enacted today. Yes?
Yeah.
Self-discipline, self-awareness, self-restraint, understanding, overview perspective. Man, the list just goes on and on. You applied all of your tools. That's what I'm excited about. You applied, Cheryl, right? Goodness is not always nice.
Goodness is not always nice.
Right? It wasn't nice today, but it was good. What you did was good, even though it wasn't particularly nice. Yes?
Yeah.
You have the power to do that. So many people are good, but they cannot apply goodness when it's not nice. And that's a major, major, great big fuck up. Look how parents who cannot do what's not nice when it comes to their kids completely ruin the kids. Yes?
Yeah. I mean, and I think going forward, I'm just going to really have to, applied some discernment on their future visits. There has to be some sort of
I agree.
agreement.
And I would strongly recommend next time, to say no, Sue.
Listen, we need some boundaries. We need some boundaries.
Say, look, Sue, you were here last time, but I also need some time, just me, because when you here, it
all goes south. It does.
The dynamic is different.
It all goes south. Yep.
And say you want to sort things out. So if Sue's not there, it will give you opportunity to spend some time with Ali. And a lot of that, especially in that culture too, Ali is basically gets to be a little boy, and a lot of little boy mindset comes out, which is, where this is my friend, and she's not yours, and shit like this.
It was just disappointing to watch her be completely charmed. It was so disappointing. I mean, there were many times this weekend that I just sat back as a spectator and just watched. Yeah. And I thought to myself, I can't believe you're not saying this is over the top.
Yeah.
This is
so that's part of your maturity.
Is silliness. It's not even genuine.
Right. Cheryl, take the power of that, right? Part of your maturity, your sobriety is disillusionment with some people. It's just part of the deal,
Yeah.
That's it. That's why, in my capacity, I make every effort as much as yes, appreciate me when it's appropriate, but I will absolutely, make sure to correct things if I'm being appreciated inappropriately, right? Because it leads to inappropriate perceptions like this. And it's, disillusionment. We have to be real about people. as wonderful as they can be in general, people can be idiots as well, same like ourselves. So they get caught up in crap. So it's very important to understand that people aren't consistent, unfortunately, and they fall into bubbles, especially emotion bubbles like this. It's a relationship with Jocelyn. It's very much the same thing.
Yeah.
Olivia had a very powerful term for it. Very, very powerful term. Ovary jiggling.
Over what?
Ovary jiggling. Having your
ovary jiggling. Oh gosh.
Yeah. It's kind of harsh, but it's very appropriate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there is, women
Well,
get to a certain
and
age, and
there's
there's
this underlying thing that, and I've said it a million times, Justin, there's nothing I won't do for you.
Yeah.
Nothing. You commit the murder, I'll hide the body. Right, there's nothing I won't do for you, right or wrong. There's nothing I won't do for you. Right. I think Ali knows that.
Exactly. And he's looking to push the boundaries too, to see what he can get away with. He's basically being childish. And, especially with Sue there, it brings out that side of him.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So when you were in Italy, who all was there?
Embarrassed. What?
When you were in Italy, who all was there?
Just Greg and I, Justin and Ali.
There you go.
Yeah.
See? So, this is, so when we understand and we get sophisticated, and we aim to be sophisticated in what we are doing with wave impeccability, right? And we understand psychology. People fall into bubbles. So Ali with Sue is falling into a bubble that is desperate for. That's the relationship that he always craved with his mother. Right? He wanted this indulgence from his mother. He could never get it. He's not going to get it from you either. Another part of the subtle, aggression, it's the resentment that, I would like to be treated like this by you. But it's inappropriate, but it doesn't matter. When people want inappropriate things, it puts them into these emotion bubbles. Same thing with Sue. She's also a bit desperate for this particular attention, the ovary jiggling. It works both ways. So, yeah. It's a bit of a blind spot for Sue. She has the same with Jocelyn, same thing to some extent. Now there is some real value in that relationship. I'm not saying it's all bullshit. There's some real value in that relationship. But still, that's his MO. He basically works with older women in that age group, that bracket, and he's the young guy and he's charming and all this stuff. So.
Yeah.
But with Ali, there's all sorts of reasons. It's even his mother is a big problem in the thing, and it's causing all the issues with you. He would want you to do what Sue's doing. So the fact that you don't do it, it's kind of an indictment, because there is some level of him that also knows that it's childish and an indulgence. But people can't help themselves. They get caught up and they lose their sense of perspective. I bet you anything, if ever you get the opportunity again, just like a little family video, film it, oh my God, they'll be horrified, especially Sue. She had to see this on video. She'd be horrified.
Really? I should. Oh, yeah. And then play it back and say,
absolutely. Just, say, but you be very subtle about it. Say, hey, Sue, I took videos of the visit. You don't say it like, and you just show it as a video, like, you just share it like happy snaps, like family vacation photos or whatever, and just let people see that. let them make their own conclusions, So, yeah. Sometimes we can be very subtle in sharing things, especially when it's delicate like this. We'll get to it. When we do the course on capital diplomacy, we'll get into all of these details. It's just powerful. It's powerful. The key for me, though, is, Cheryl, is you celebrating your power, your sobriety. You're not a nobody. You're very sober. You have lots of power of sobriety and discernment. You're an exception, Cheryl. You have incredible power of sobriety. It's not an easy thing to live with, because we see stuff like this in other people.
I guess. And so do you feel is that why he He wants to devalue me because I really feel devalued in his presence. I really do.
Oh yeah, oh, absolutely. Because the more he devalues you, the more he legitimizes his indulgence with soup. Yeah.
That's so sad.
Yeah, the whole thing is sad. And also the more he legitimizes his relationship with his mother. So yeah, the whole thing is sad. And the more he legitimizes his insecurity when it comes to him and Justin. I mean, he's insecure. He thinks you might take him away. Like his mother would take him away if she had her way. So there's a whole lot of fucked upness in this whole thing with him and his mom. Everything is being externalized onto you because you represent sobriety. Sobriety for him is very, very threatening. He doesn't want to be sensible. If he wanted to be truly sensible, he would have fixed the shit with his mother a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
He wouldn't indulge with Sue in the way he does. He probably wouldn't be in the type of relationship that he's in, right? I imagine there's a lot of indulgence in that relationship too. He gets spoiled by Justin likely and all sorts of crap, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, this works for him. So you are a major threat to his.
I'm a problem. Yeah.
Because of your sobriety and your power. So the key here is to let him know, Ali, as long as you make Justin happy, I don't care what kind of an asshole you are. Quite literally.
Right. But when you're in my home, you're going to respect some boundaries. That's the way that's going to.
But I'm not going to tolerate you being crap to me. And if you got any bloody smarts on your head, you won't push this because Justin right now is kind of oblivious to it, right? But how long is that going to last? When Justin starts to see this, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. So stop your crap. You're just doing yourself, lay down the law. You're just doing yourself harm here, right? And there's no need for it. I like you. I have no problem with you. It's it's totally unnecessary, right? But I mean, you can say it in a nice way. There's no need for it. Unnecessary, but I'm not going to it either.
Yeah, it would. It's going to take some. It's going to take some thought. But yeah. I think that conversation has to take place.
Right, exactly. But you've got lots of time until next time. There's no rush.
Yeah. Well, I'm going out there this weekend.
Oh, then Sue's not going to be there.
Mm-mm.
Sue is definitely a factor and a catalyst here. So if there is an occasion when Sue comes, then you can say ahead of time, say, Sue, you are coming over. Just do me a favor.
Well, here's another thing. And this was a few years ago. We were going out for a holiday and Ali wanted Sue and Bill to come out with us. And Justin said to me, I told Ali, things get too fucked up when Sue's around. So he does notice the whole weirdness that takes
love
place.
is funny though. People struggle to deal with the awful truth when it comes to those close to them. Yeah. You're an exception. You call a spade, and that's it. You don't fuck around, but there's very few people like you in the world, Sue. I mean, Cheryl, very few. Yeah. Right? I mean, I understand this, that you're an exception. So part of our sobriety, Sue, I keep calling you Sue now, bloody hell. Because I'm trying to say that, even Sue with all the training she has sometimes gets caught up in these bubbles and loses things a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So to understand that the sobriety that we have to see the stuff and to be on the outside of these bubbles and to see them so clearly, it can make us a bit sad sometimes. Yeah. But we can't let that overwhelm us, right? It's just the way it is, and we've got to make peace with it, and we've just got to be happy being ourselves. End of story. It is what it is, and people get caught up in bubbles. That's it.
Okay.
Very simple. Very simple. To have a sobriety that we have, and the ruthlessness that goes with it. This is.
Yeah, I know, and I guess that's why I was just so shocked because Sue has that sobriety in many other respects and areas. And I can't believe she lived through this weekend with me and didn't see. Wow.
But believe it, people get into bubbles and have blind spots. And I tell you what, if Sue were to become aware of this, she would be horrified and she'd change right away. That much I promise you. Because she had that same bubble when it came to William. The story of William, the older guy, William. But he's also called Bill, but we call him William just to distinguish him between her Bill. Right? He's this older guy, kind of, in the age of her father, I guess, a friend of the family. And he would always make these kind of lewd, suggestive, oh, I want a piece of that when Sue came along.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
inappropriate. And Sue, at some point, Bill said, but where's your self-respect? How do you allow him to talk to you like that? And she was horrified, and the bubble popped. And then, then we talked about it, and we went through it in detail on Zoom, and she went to the next family gathering, and she had a whole different attitude and mindset, and he completely changed. He turned around completely like that. Now he's like got lots of respect for her. He talks very nicely to her. He actually wants to be her friend. He calls her up every now and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
when she's aware of her bubbles, she really makes an effort to deal with it.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. If you had a video, that would be fantastic. But because you could just show her without saying a word.
Right.
Just, hey, here's our video from the weekend. What do you think? Yeah. So, but if not, there are ways you can bring it up. And she's very sensitive and responsive to those kind of bubbles. I mean, there's been other things that we've dealt with where she's done many other things that she changed her life completely because she was still caught up in a bubble. She doesn't realize this is a bubble. So yeah, I mean, I do credit Sue big time with making an effort to change once she's aware. She's not always aware though.
Okay.
We have a peculiar awareness, Cheryl, really and truly. I have to just emphasize this. The awareness that we possess, it's not an easy awareness to live.
It isn't.
It takes a lot of doing.
It isn't, because I have a feeling there's a lot of people that might have missed some of the swipes that he takes. But
absolutely.
But I'm listening, and I'm aware, and I'm just constantly just searching for this peaceful middle ground, and this can be okay. This can be okay. I'm not a threat to you. I'm not a threat, but
so bottom line, Sue, the harsh reality that I have to tell you, yes, what our awareness, it puts a bit of onus on us, and it can be a bit stressful, but on balance, there's no way we're going to give it up, right? When we really learn to deal with it and to be able to be strategic and sensible and sober and use capital diplomacy, and once we accept full responsibility for who we are, we end up living in a very magical world. But here's the key though, right? So this is the point I want to make here.
Okay.
Right? Because of our awareness, the onus falls on us to make things right.
Okay.
Right? We, the adult in the room, we can't complain that other people are being children when we're the adult in the room. Just understand that you cannot expect them, and do not expect them to know what you know. Sobriety and maturity.
Right.
You, the adult in the room. Hello, Cheryl's boobs.
Oh, I went to get something. They are. They are.
I could tease you.
Hey, I say hello. I'll be behind my computer. Right? Huh? Yeah.
They were just full screen for a second. It was cool.
I didn't realize. Sometimes I'm not sure where that camera is. No, I was getting something behind. No,
it's all good. That's the thing that I enjoy. That I like a relationship where there's no, you can say shit like that. You know what I mean? Some people are like, oh, how can you say that? Like Bina would always get so horrified, but you don't get it. At some point, there's no barriers with stuff, and you can be free and say whatever the hell. It doesn't matter, right? We have that capability, Cheryl. Very few people have that, truly. I like, as wonderful as my relationship is with Bina, she gets horrified sometimes, like now she would have been horrified. And I try and, say, but, she doesn't understand. She doesn't get it because she's not living in that world of complete freedom and openness. She has all these barriers and boundaries.
Yes.
Of course, there are times when I'm not going to say that it's all about appropriateness. But to have a relationship with somebody where you can be 100% open and there's no boundaries, no barriers, this is a magical, magical thing. It's very rare. Right? But to get back to my other key point, that it's the onus is on us to make things right. In other words, we got to be the bigger person, which means sometimes we have to go, and we the ones, it's going to fall on us to make extra effort. Yeah?
Right.
As simple as that. there's no fairness, there's no evenness when it
And
comes.
I'm absolutely okay with that. I'm
Yeah,
absolutely
same here.
okay with that.
Precisely.
I just, like you said, I want to be strategic about it. I want to
Exactly.
think it through to the end. I want to not
Exactly.
allow like emotion to be
Exactly.
my driving force.
Exactly, Cheryl. Exactly.
You know, I mean,
Exactly.
it has to be led by, you
Sobriety.
know, balance and
Sobriety.
sobriety and,
Exactly. And
you know,
strategy,
just
right? Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
you know, we need to get to a place of some mutual respect. That's all.
Yes. And moreness, you know, and leverage and capital D diplomacy. And, you know, saying, hey, you know, we this is about what's right and what's appropriate. That's
Right,
it, you know,
right.
and it's also about self-respect. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
Yes.
due respect
I
in
can't,
general.
I can't spend the rest of my life allowing this.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's unnecessary as well. But you know, we cannot expect others to see it and do and act on it, and you know, be so we have to have you know absolute lots of cunning, but it's always straightforward to go together, right? Very people understand that you can be cunning and straightforward both at the same time. They don't get it, right? So ethical, strategic ethics, in other words, we are very strategic and you know we will put pressure, we'll leverage the situation, but always to do so ethically. And also we know that it's on us to make the extra effort. Without us making the extra effort, it's not going to happen. We can't expect somebody to make the appropriate you know effort and to reciprocate in the same amount. No, it's on us, and we'll solve the problem. We don't care, we'll make it happen whether they want to or not. Doesn't matter, we'll make it happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I gotta go
Power,
take care
Cheryl.
of
That's
that
our
dog.
power, right? That's our power. We
I
make
have-
it happen.
I
Doesn't
have
matter
to-
what others do. We make it happen. We're going to learn this. This is the power of us being spirit warriors, strategic spirit warriors. We make it happen, whether you now want it to or not. Doesn't matter. We make it
Okay,
happen.
all right. Hey, honey,
Power,
I
our power.
thank you for your time. I've got to go take care of that
Always
dog.
a pleasure, Cheryl. Always
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. Truly, truly, always a pleasure. Always. Hey,
Thank
I'm
you.
really thrilled that you did come on because it's important. It's important. You know, the stuff doesn't wait. Tuesday's too far away. It
That's right.
needed
No,
now.
I needed some guidance. I needed just to, I just needed to get it out and
You just
talk
needed
it
to hear
through.
yourself, really.
Yeah,
All
truly.
I'm
Truly, I
doing
needed
is
to
just
hear myself because I can't speak my truth to many people and have it be
exactly,
received
exactly,
the way I'm.
exactly. So we do live in a rarefied world, and know this that you cannot always speak your truth to everybody.
Right, I
That's
know
just the
that.
nature of the deal. It's
I
just
know
part
that.
of it. Yeah,
I
I
know
mean,
that.
I've lived in that world my whole life. Just
Yeah.
understand that. Yeah.
Okay.
So you know, that's why I really enjoy you because I can speak my truth.
Okay. Will you be
Bye,
well? And
Cheryl.
I will see you Tuesday.
So also, our love is not one that is put out by the totality. We have the capability to love despite what we know. Be aware of that also. Right? We know people can be crappy and silly and stupid and caught up in bubbles, and we can still love them.
Okay.
That's our power. Yes?
Yeah.
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 Just know your power. That's all. Know your power. Know your power. Know your
Okay.
sobriety.
All right.
Go, Cheryl. All right.
Okay.
Love
Thank you, my dear.
See
I'll
you
talk to
on
you
Tuesday.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday. Thank you, Sil.
Bye. Bye, Cheryl.
Bye.
Oh, pleasure. Bye. What magic.